And so we're also coming up now for some other questions. So I will go kind of in order. There was one for you, Tony. Does the CCC sixth carbon budget meet reductions indicated in your slides?
That's a good question. I think the answer is probably no. I think was it Dan came up with some. I think he may know. Dan from CPRE may know more about this than I do. But from what I've seen of most things that we've heard, nothing actually meets the reductions we actually need to achieve. Often, if we follow the things that we're supposed to be doing, like in the Paris agreements, I think that might get us somewhere towards about 3 degrees of warming, which is probably not survivable. So even the things that we're not achieving don't go far enough. I'm not sure about the sixth carbon budget, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if that was very, very similar.
Yeah, and I don't know what Maureen also asked about the CDC's climate emissions survey, and it failed to get out to local people. Do you know why that was? Or maybe Francesca knows why? If either of you have got any comments on that.
I was just going to pick up on the previous point that Tony was covering off. The sixth carbon budget follows the Climate Change Act requirement, which is for to prevent a 2-degree warming. But as we know from the IPCC report back in 2019, end of 2019, 1.5 degrees warming is catastrophic. So the sixth carbon budget does actually, it addresses this issue, saying, it would try to prevent 2-degree warming, according to the UK emissions only, of course. And it would work towards a 1.5 degree maximum threshold. But of course, it's still the same work that needs to be done. We just need to do it even more urgently. We need to be doing everything now, really.
Yeah, thanks. And Dinah, there was a few for you. So how did you secure the space? How long do you have the space? How did you get the funds for it? And do you think a hub would work in a village as well as a town? So Dinah, I don't know if you can give a bit more info on the hub.
Yeah, we worked with the coronavirus volunteers because they were doing big stuff. They actually got we both applied for a premises and we lost it to the coronavirus volunteers. It kind of sums it all up really by 2 votes. But then the coronavirus volunteers couldn't actually take it as we moved out of lockdown. And we actually got the space. We were going to share it with them, but now we have it on our own because they've done something else. We got a grant from the town council, and most town councils have small grants. We only got a small grant, enough for 1 year's rent. We're all run by volunteers. We got a reduced premises because it was in a district council building, although we can use a model of 0 business rates if we declare ourselves as a charity or a CIC. That's a community interest company. Because the buildings aren't being rented because of recession and COVID, etc., businesses still have to pay high business rates. But if you're a charity or a community interest company, you can get 80 to 100% reduction in business rates. So although the owner doesn't receive any rent, at least they don't have to pay the business rates, which can be substantial, like £15,000-20,000 for a high street slot. I would advise anybody to get the people they've got, wherever they are, whoever it is, get them together, start working, publicize it. Other people will join. Don't wait for a bigger group. There's no time to wait. Do whatever you can do now and people will come. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think that's what, all of us that are here on this call, we're on this call by nature because we are all active. It's like action is the antidote to despair. And, rather than just going into this overwhelm of it's all too big and somebody else is going to fix it, instead it's like, well, actually, all of us, are all part of that. And I think that's what gives us, as an alliance, that power of feeling that we're not alone either. that there's all these other groups that make us as SECA, all working in the same direction. And, you know, and I just see this, I've got this on my desk here. I don't know if you can you read this, or is it back to front?
Yeah.
It's back to front.
Is it back to front?
I read it.
It says, to talk about the future is useful only if it leads to action now. So that's really, you know, what, you know, we are all doing our bit, and we all know that whatever we're doing is not quite enough. And so we have all got to do a little bit more and take it to the next level. So we're going to have a break now. And so we're going to have like a 10-minute break and then come back afterwards. So, so yeah, 11:35. We'll be back. So go and do what you need for 10 minutes and see you all back here at 11:35. See you then.